Directors for September 25th will come to order. The board would like to take a moment to thank the community for the outpouring of support and prayers for the Angle family in their now time of grief. Not only our local community, but surrounding communities far and wide. Thank you for the outpouring of all who helped in any way for supporting the memorial service yesterday for Matt. We also have a young man, Caleb Latimer, a senior that is battling leukemia and started his second round of chemo today. I am asking for a moment of silence in support of these two families, as well as anyone that is part of the Bulldog Nation that is having a medical issue. The Bulldog Nation is standing with you. Moment of silence. Thank you. Moving on to roll call, Mr. Enders.
Mr. Allen.
Present.
Mrs. Calhoun.
Here.
Ms. Stobler.
Here.
Ms. Edwards.
Here.
Mrs. Grant.
Here.
Mr. Kinley. Here. Mrs. Petrowski.
Here.
Mrs. Stemler. Mrs. Thomas.
Here.
All 9 members present.
Time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight we have two students from Jersey Elementary. Would you like to introduce them, Ms. Johnson?
Good evening. I'd like to welcome Wyatt Vanderlyn and Mario Gonzalez from 5th grade at Jersey Shore Elementary.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. We have and your teacher's going to want to get a picture. Or your principal. All right, next we have approval of minutes, August the 2nd, 2023, Capital Projects Committee meeting. August the 14th, 2023, regular meeting. August the 22nd, 2023, special board meeting personnel hearing. August the 28th, 2023, regular meeting. May I have a motion for A through D?
Motion.
I'll second.
You have it, Ben? Questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Next is the treasurer's report. We have a treasurer's report for August 2023, as well as an investment report for 2023. May I have a motion for A through B? Or A and B?
Motion.
Second.
Questions?
I have a question for Mr. Enders. On the treasurer's report, I assume the 9+ million received in general fund is mostly tax revenue?
Yes.
The discount period, yeah.
Yeah, August is our huge tax revenue month, so I just looked the other day. I think she has collected, I believe, just over $10 million since the start of the fiscal year.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries.
One clarification on that, Mr. Kinley, I think it's also important to note that our state subsidy came in, basic ed subsidy came in August. So that's the 3.9 million you see on their general fund plug-it.
No, thank you.
And that was delayed due to the budget delay.
But still non-official.
Well, the budget's official, the fiscal code is not. How to spend the money is not official.
You can have it, just don't touch it.
Moving on to communications.
I didn't see, we didn't do bills.
Pardon me?
We didn't do bills.
Oh, I had the page printed there. Or it didn't get in here. I missed getting it in here. Somehow I missed the page. Let me see your page.
It's at the bottom.
No, I need this. All right, next is the paying of the bills. The bills this month are $2,348,586.78. Anything you need to tell us about, Mr. Enders?
Nothing really to note on the bills for August. Do know that our bond payments came out September 1st. You will see those at the next board meeting, so they were rather large. So I'm you will see a larger bill amount the next meeting.
Any questions?
On the capital reserve fund, the 370, almost 375,000 to weatherproofing, I assume that's for the roof,
Yeah, that's the Sally Berger.
and we have roughly another 100,000.
Mark, we just did the last payment. Was it 50,000 or was that 100,000? Well, I know the last payment's in my box, the bill. $53,488.86 was the last payment.
And is that the final payment, or is there a holdback?
There is $47,545.65 retained.
Still left, yep, okay, thank you.
May I have a motion for the, pay the bills?
Motion.
Second.
Any other questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
None in favor, like sign. Motion passes. All right, now I'm in presentations. Communications, Dr. Ulmer.
Only thing that I want to talk about this evening is Mrs. Thomas did already mention, but I want to say thank you for all the community support. I felt it, and I appreciate it all.
President's report, we had an executive session that was held before the meeting at 5:45 for the purpose of legal personnel and/or safety. IU report, Jesse?
Maybe Dr. Elmer can help me with this because of the Welsh teaching program, because of them rescheduling and
Yes.
what was involved, because it's pretty fascinating.
The IU is involved in a teacher and administrator exchange with Wales. We actually have some teachers in the middle school that have participated in doing virtual meetings with that exchange. I have participated in some of the virtual meetings with administrators. They were scheduled to come here in October, and visit the actual building to see some of those middle school teachers that they talked to in action. That was rescheduled potentially for March because of the current airline rates. And then the plan is that next summer of 2024, those administrators, their administrators would be coming in the spring as well to see our buildings. And that is scheduled, I think that's in March as well. But then in summer of 2024, our administrators who've been participating in the United States will go to Wales over the summer to see their school buildings. It's quite fascinating. We've learned a lot about the difference in structure. They're a very decentralized system, meaning that each school building is kind of operating on its own. So when I talk to principals over there, they have their own maintenance agreement. They have their own, they don't really have transportation because they're in a community, but they have their own maintenance agreement. They have their own food service agreement. So that's all being handled by a building principal. So that's who I'm interfacing with. It's fascinating to learn from them.
And am I wrong, out of the 19 school districts, there's only 5 participating?
There's 5 participating, yeah.
And Jersey Shore is one of the 5, so.
When you say 19, you're talking the IU?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Okay, superintendent's report.
I'm going to start by pointing out at your seats, there is a single sheet of paper that Mr. Wall has provided. If you recall at our last meeting, we had a conversation about moving forward with capital projects and discussed using $1 million from capital reserve and prioritizing what was on the list and looking at what we would recommend the district do with that $1 million. So in front of you is the list that Mr. Wall has provided that I gave input on as well. This shouldn't look like anything new because it's coming from the larger list. This is, here's the items that get us to the $1 million. You can pick and choose. It's purposefully a little over because you could pick and choose what you decide will or will not be included in that list. The recommendation that I have is that this go to the capital projects meeting, which is on October 16th. That will give us another board meeting to come back and discuss this if there's any other discussion that needs to occur after tonight. But then on October 16th, the capital projects committee would delve into this a little bit deeper and have conversations about whether they're okay with this list and they're okay with pulling this money out of capital projects before we come back on the second meeting in October for a board commitment to move forward with this list of projects. Questions for myself or Mr. Wall at this point?
So, a question. So at the moment, without providing more dollars to the capital projects fund, we're gonna be short a couple $100,000?
If we did everything on this list,
Yeah.
but these are our priorities. I think we could take things out of here if we see it's not something we want to do right now. The other conversation that Mr. Wall had with me is, you'll remember these include contingency and soft costs in the report, but also these haven't been bid out yet. So one of the conversations we had with Site Logic is you could bid this whole list out and pick and choose when you get the bids back what you're going to do and what you're not based on the bid prices.
So this could actually be lower.
It could be lower.
But it can't be higher than what is quoted here.
What I would like to see on the final motion is a not to exceed number.
Yes.
And then you can say to them as they go out to design this, this is all you're getting.
Yeah.
This is what we would like to see done, and this is all you're getting to do it.
That sounds good.
And I had a conversation with them about that and a not to exceed number.
Could, I'd like Ben to provide us what, between now and the end of the fiscal year, what he projects the fund balance, the balance to be, because we do take there are other expenditures, like the cameras, I think are coming out of the capital projects fund. So without putting any more money in, what does he see that, as best he can, how much?
You want a projection of where the balance of the capital projects account will be by 6/30 of '24?
Yes.
Any other questions? Also on this, under my report and attached, the PSBA officer election ballot is there. You're not voting on that tonight. It's there for information. But it's there for information in case there's anything you want to discuss before it goes on the agenda for approval. Anybody have any questions or discussion on that?
So that'll be the next board meeting, that we'll have to vote on
Yep.
this? Okay.
I have a question on the conference attendees
Okay.
list. There's two, I mean, the name of the conference is identical. The Pennsylvania Business Education, one, within 3 weeks of each other, and both attended by Tim Dersham. Can you tell us what are the differences of the two conferences?
I believe, and I don't have them in front of me, but I believe there is
The one in Kalahari.
a state and a regional.
Okay.
Yeah, they're different places.
The one in Kalahari is probably the fall FBLA leadership.
Oh, yeah, those are FBLA related.
The first one,
So-
the other one's their state organization.
I know they're different. I believe, I don't have the forms in front of me, but I can send that to you.
When you get requests, is there a projected total cost?
Cost, correct, yes. That's all on the form that comes to me.
And is there any kind of limitations per conference or per year, per individual or anything like that?
It all has to be borne by the building budget. So when that comes to me, it's already been approved and budgeted by the building administrator.
You mean in total or level of detail? In other words, if they have a budget of $3,000, is that,
They can't go over that for everybody.
but they can mix and match however they want to, okay.
Any other questions?
That's my report.
All right, next we have courtesy of the floor, which at this point there is none. There will be a courtesy of the floor at the end of the meeting. Next we move on. It's not, we're not voting on that, anything on that, so you'll have to do it at the end of the meeting. Next is personnel items. Acknowledgement of Jordan Russell as attains a Master's of Education degree. The athletic trainer job description. The building and grounds secretary job description. The building and grounds secretary job description. FMLA from September 8th, 2023 through October 23, 2023 for employee 2023-24-10, and FMLA from August the 24th of 2023 through October the 19th of 2023 for employee 2023-24-11. Unpaid medical leave from November the 3rd of 2023 through December the 8th of 2023 for employee 2023-24-12, and all those dates are approximate. Accepting a letter of resignation from Jamie Straub as an accounts payable secretary effective September 15th, 2023. Appointment of Clayton Musher to the technology co-op student position effective September 26, 2023, pending clearances. Correction to a stipend amount for Michelle Long, high school English mentor for Ella Simcox, new district teacher at a stipend of $306. Appointment of Judy Packer to a substitute crossing guard substitute position effective September 26, 2023. An MOU between Jersey Area Education for Jersey Area School District and the Jersey Area Education Association for their Masters plus 30 and the doctorate pay scales for 23-24 due to a typographical error. May I have a motion for A through K?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. On the curriculum and instruction, the following out-of-state field trips, Tuesday, April the 2nd, 2024, to the Baltimore National Aquarium High School Pep Club 9 through 12, and the list of chaperones. And I believe, correct me, that is not a
That
school
is
day.
not a school day.
May I have a motion?
I will, motion. Second.
Any questions? This is a pretty regular yearly field trip. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Next is building and grounds, of which there is no items, followed by finance, which there is no items either. Let's mark that day down in history. Miscellaneous is next. We have a donation of supplies for the Jersey Elementary Garden by the Jersey Elementary PTO. A donation of welding supplies and equipment for the CTE Manufacturing Technology Department. A donation of Q collars from the McCracken family to the football team. And retirement of policy number 255, educational stability for the children in foster care. May I have a motion for A through D?
So moved. Second.
Questions on any of them? I'll make a comment on the retirement of policy 255. It's now incorporated into a policy we just passed recently. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Next is old business. Anybody like to make any statements under old business? Hearing none, moving on. Next is courtesy of the floor. This courtesy of the floor will be for public comment on non-agenda items. State your name, address, and identify what you would like to address, and you will have 3 minutes. Go ahead, Mr. Sherman.
John Sherman, Region 2. You have discussions tonight about spending $1 million. What would be the total cost for bringing all 5 educational buildings up to standards? I've heard a total to do it would be around $50 million. Is this a true statement or not? Mr. Enders?
I can't answer that question, Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Ulmer?
I told you when I met with you in my office that that number included all 5 buildings and included additions to buildings. My
Okay.
answer hasn't changed.
I wanted to get it out to the public. And we've had I've heard a lot of dissatisfaction with having to bus students from the district to the other outlying schools. When I served on the school board, we did away with that. We got the genie back in the box and put people where they belong. Mrs. Thomas, being you're my representative, I would like to hear what your explanation is for Plan C and busing kids all over the place. This makes no sense at all. As I said, when I was on the school board before, along with Mrs. Helms and everybody else, we got it back into the bottle. We put it back into the bottle. There are a lot of members on this school board right now that have got this school district in bad shape. And if you don't pay attention to what your business manager and your superintendent say, such as advice for not for closing the school and not approving a teacher's contract, you might as well fire them and then try running the schools yourself. Went through this stuff 2006 when I went on the school board in 2007 because the district was dang near bankrupt. Now you're sucking for money. And we got one on here that has helped create both messes.
Thank you. Anyone else for the good of the order?
Steve Helm, Pilot Township, just real quick, and it's just an observation. You know, it appears from the public perspective that the executive sessions last longer than the regular meetings. And to me, that sort of puts me in mind that there's business that should be being discussed in those behind closed doors meetings that the public isn't entitled to the information. I would just caution you once again, and I've done it before, that, you know, those executive sessions are very limited in what your authority and discussions should be, and that no decision-making should be done behind closed doors. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Anyone else for the good of the order?
Hello, Dr. Lily Langlois, Cummings Township. I just want to say, as a constituent, I'm really happy with option C. My kids have a really much larger class size in Salatiesburg, 21 kids for kindergarten. It's not quite a zoo, but it's a lot harder for the teachers. And I want to say, and I'm hoping that the equal distribution of class size across all 3 elementary schools has been successful, because certainly Salatiesburg, it went quite a bit up. And I think that's really important for all the teachers, so JSE isn't taking the burden of having really disproportionate class sizes. That was the purpose of option C. And yes, there's busing. There's always been busing. We have one of the largest districts, as you well know. And I just want to express that there are many constituents that are very happy keeping Salatiesburg open, and we want to thank you. And I would like, as a time for unity, I think we've all learned that lately, especially with the recent events. Moving on, as Dr. Ulmer said, when you vote, you keep that vote and you don't look in the rearview mirror. And if you had something to say, there was plenty of opportunities to say it prior. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else for the good of the order? Seeing none, courtesy, the floor is over. May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Meeting's adjourned. Mr. Helm, can I see you just a minute?